5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
Alright guys, welcome to another Dashes game ShoutCAST. My name's Dashes and this is the best of 3 between TM5, that is Team Mumble 5, brain freeze there for a second, versus Big Dig Ballers BDD. I can't even say that shit. Let's do it again. BDB. Alright, basically TM5 won the first match very convincingly actually. And it's funny. This is the 4th match I've casted of TM5, and their first 2 bans every game have been AM and Invoker. They do not want to verse in Invoker. And you actually see after last game, Furion actually tore BDB to shreds. So first ban there, and then the Morphling ban as well. Bit unsure about that, considering he may not be a top tier pick anymore. Most people are saying he's not so good anymore, but obviously they do think so, and they choose to pick up the Darkseer as first pick. So I'm not too sure on the heroes these people play, but we could see maybe a Tide, probably a Rubik now. I would see coming out. I mean, I think that'd be silly not to pick Rubik here, but they have their strategies which they're running, and I have spoke to Charizard, yeah, so they have like pretty much got strategies for every game, and they're gonna stick to them no matter what. So let's see what they can pull out here. I really think they had to ban that Rubik in the first one if they're gonna pick Tide up straight away as well. Other than that, we may see a Batrider. I mean, they might not pick him up now, but I've seen Veteran play Batrider in 2 games now, and it was extremely impressive play, like extremely impressive. So we'll see what they choose. They're taking up their time right now. I'm not actually sure if they have any Rubik players on that team. Veteran has been playing very well, so I'm assuming he can. But I just really don't think they want to give that Rubik to the Big Ballers, but they choose Lich. Maybe an odd choice. Unlikely Big Ballers were going to pick Lich, I would say. I mean, they haven't picked him yet, and not many teams have been picking him. Maybe could have saved him for later, and then swapped him out for another support, like keeping that like between AA and Lich. Yeah, we'll get you to cast another one, Seb, after. Sorry, I was talking to someone in chat. Yeah, maybe leaving that type of support, like that AA Lich type person, yeah, to later, to maybe counter other people, may have been better. But they choose the Lich and then Rubik. Pretty easy pick, to be honest. I mean, Lich, even just stealing Lich's ulti is huge. And then they go with Leshrac. So, interesting to see. I mean, I haven't seen a Leshrac do overly well yet. Edict is still amazing, but the cast time on an early game is insane. It's basically like stunning yourself for 0.7 seconds to cast it, and it can be interrupted as well. So you can't just, as a Sven stun's flying to you, you can't just press W and have it tick straight away. They pick up Chaos Knight as their carry for this, so most likely going to be seeing it on a tri-lane. Tide Hunter, Lich, and Chaos Knight. I'm pretty sure they picked Tide Hunter every game so far, and Lich in about 3 or 4 of them. So interesting to see that. They really, as I said, they had their heroes they want to play, and they're going to play them no matter what. Alright, so this is my first day of doing a full cast. Like, this is, I think, my 5th game now, and my voice is like, blah. So, yeah, it's getting a little bit much, but we'll see how we go. And obviously I'm doing a solo cast as well, so I don't really get many breaks. We got the ban, a Naga Siren ban coming out. Very smart ban. The last thing you want to have happen is a Naga Siren into a Tide Hunter ultimate with a CK and a Lich. I mean, it basically gives CK a free stun, Tide Hunter free ultimate, and then Lich just obviously to tear him to shreds. And they pick the they take out the Panda probably the smartest ban they could have got, actually. Panda counters Tidehunter, Lich, and CK quite well, actually. He's very hard to gank, very annoying in the hands of a good player. So, yeah, good ban there, in my opinion. Don't know if BDD had Big Dick Ballers, fuck it, had any players who actually played that Panda hero, but yeah, smart ban if it was a competitive game. Or a pro level game. This is competitive.
Dire team ban.
BDB will be banning Enigma next. Just getting rid of those wombo combo heroes, an instant TA ban. Maybe a little bit odd. Rubik was most likely going to be going middle. Although Rubik with Leshrac is a very good setup with him being able to telekinesis and then pick a point, and then Leshrac basically gets 100% stun. If you're missing it, it's a ping issue, Seb. Or yeah, otherwise, yeah, you're really easy stun. So they'll be looking possibly for that in the tri lane. And then maybe have a different hero middle, but I would have thought Rubik would be going middle to get that fast level 6 to be able to steal any sort of ultimates that may be coming their way. Yeah. So we'll see the last ban coming out now from BDB. That is so hard for me to say with a stutter. Like, you have no, if you don't have a stutter, you have no idea how hard that is for me to say. It's actually ridiculous. Alright. And not quite going into reserve time yet, but they get a long time for this ban. A minute 17, really? Wow, that's a long time. So, right now, I mean, Team Mumble 5 really have the same sort of lineup that they have been running the whole time. They're definitely going to run this Tidehunter, Lich, Chaos Knight sort of lane, I'm assuming. I mean, I can't see them running it any other way. And yeah, most likely going to be sending the Darkseer. They're going to try to get the Darkseer against that lane, most likely. And they banned out the Batrider. Smart ban. I mean, I would assume that Veteran was probably going for that hero. Batrider he has played him insanely well today, as I said. And they instantly ban out the Chen straight away, so they don't want to deal with that Chen either. Probably a smart ban, considering they most likely won't be picking up an AA now, unless they did send an AA middle type, sort of maybe a CK AA lane. But it's unlikely with having that Tidehunter. He really has no one to offlane against him, and he's not the best offlane versus DS. So, yeah, probably a smart ban there, as they don't really have a counter to that Chen right now. And also Lich with the Chen creeps, it can waste a lot of his bounces just on those creeps, so that's not what you want to happen. It was actually funny in another game. Lich threw his ultimate onto 2 heroes, and then it bounced through a stack of about 25 neutral creeps, and just it was a perfect ultimate, except for they got envision of like this huge stack, and then it only hit them once or twice. So yeah, so they definitely want to get rid of that Chen, and then they pick up the Shadow Shaman. So it's most likely going to be a Shadow Shaman Leshrac carry tri lane with the Rubik going middle. Shadow Shaman could go middle. I know people don't play him middle so much, but he is a brilliant middle hero. Getting level 6 or 7 up super quick, and having that pushing ability with like Leshrac in another lane is like absolutely huge. So, but most likely they'll be sticking to what the pros do, and having Shadow Shaman Leshrac supporting whichever hero they pick up now. Now I'm thinking a Juggernaut. A Juggernaut would be so strong right now. I mean, he counters everything, and never mind. Wow. Alright, they are going all out right now. They're just going, we are going to blow you away in the first 10 minutes or so. They want kills. They want kills. And so to Team Mumble 5, to be honest. They pick up the Storm, which most likely will be going middle. Swordfish in the off lane. And then we'll have CK Lich tri lane. Yeah, it's not present time at the moment. I'm just casting on the game right now. So I'll be doing a double present time in the next game. Alright, sorry, my voice is going a little bit. Alright, so we got... It's most likely going to be a Leshrac, SK, and Shadow Shaman tri-lane bottom. Most likely giving the farm to Leshrac. I think that'd be the best choice. And they'll be going up against the Ezreal most likely, yeah. They're not going to set... TM5 decide not to send their tri-lane against the other team's tri-lane. Probably a wise choice, as it really is weaker, to be honest. And they're just going to be doing the Tide Lich pulling combo, and then trying to keep this Darkseer off the lane. In their first game, they kept the Darkseer at level 1 until about like 9 minutes or something. It was ridiculous. But in their second game, they failed it a little bit, and then the Darkseer was like level 5 around that time or something. So it will be interesting to see whether they can keep their DS completely out of EXP range or not really. So we'll see what happens. And apparently, I can't spell. I'm casting. I can't spell for shit. Anyways, how many specs we got right now? The one spectator. That's me. Yay! All right. Yeah, so fairly passive. It looked like the Radiant side wanted to go for level 1 gank. They're going to give that haste to DS, which is extremely good. He's going to get that top lane before creeps even spawn. So that's lucky for him. If they don't take him out of that lane, that could be like the difference between level 1 and 2. Which is pretty good. And yeah, basically in his bottom lane, they're looking to set up kills really quickly, but Ezreal is not going to fall for this. He knows that they're looking for kills. They don't have a carry besides Leshrac, who's only a semi-carry anyway, so, I mean, he's going to, I would expect him to play extremely cautious. I don't see him getting caught out here very soon. But at the same time, he's running just down here, and yeah, he knows what's going on right now. He's seen SK sitting there with the Illuminate. SK chooses to stay there, oddly enough. But this presence is probably enough to just keep them off EXP range, though, to be honest. He's completely out of mana already, so he's going to have to wait till level 2 to get at least another Illuminate back. And right now, we're just going to have Leshrac probably getting all the farm. I'd assume they'll give it to Leshrac. And then we got the middle lane matchup, Rubik versus Storm Spirit. It's not something you see often, but I would assume Rubik would have the upper hand. I mean, Rubik is the best, if not one of the best middle heroes, up there with TA and I had someone else in my head, but I cannot think of him right now. But yeah, just one of the best laning heroes right now. As you can see, DS getting completely off the XP range, especially with this shell. It might even be smart for him to not to cast that shell, because a lot of these teams aren't so good at keeping the wave in equilibrium. So, I mean, if he doesn't cast that shell, I mean, see, this creep wave's already pushing up. He could have this creep wave all the way down here right now, and he could be getting the EXP. So maybe not casting that shell so early. I mean, you barely ever even get last hits with it at this stage anyway. So yeah, it might be a wise choice. And he's going to get at least one creep. Yeah, and right now we have Leshrac is definitely getting the farm here. Some pulling going on while we're going some stacking, and now Ezreal is back in EXP range. Both teams not really keeping the lane in equilibrium as well as they could be, which is interesting. And that Illuminate just going through the heroes. Swordfish, I think, has played Keeper of the Light 5 out of 5 games or 4 out of 5 games. I know it's at least 4 out of 5. I missed one of them. Yeah, and it looks like we have in middle lane Storm Spirit 12 for 4 with Rubik 8 and 0. So, and he does get a Regenerate, which is quite a lucky rune actually, considering he was completely out of mana. And that Sharker, it isn't too much, only about 50 mana, because it costs 125 as well. Yeah, and he's just playing this lane exactly how it needs to be played right now, as safe as possible, and yeah. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any action for a while. Maybe see a smoke gank coming out. Either team have smoke at all. They don't. They do have the counter wards, but be nice to see. Tidehunter's normally been starting off with smoke. Yeah, he does have a smoke, but I haven't seen him use it effectively. They haven't done any of this sort of thing lately at all. In any of the games I've seen, they've sort of used that smoke maybe around the 10-minute mark or so, which is probably a little bit too late, to be honest. Yeah, and this CK just having the farm of his life up here. 3 minutes in, 17 last hits. Same with the Storm though. This Storm is just farming brilliantly. Yeah, completely owning this Rubik right now. Just getting everything it can, and the harass at the same time. I think he will have the lane control, the rune control as well. If because the only problem right now is that they do have SK and Shadow Shaman could possibly go to the rune. He's a little bit early though. Quite odd. Maybe they didn't have the ward. Maybe they currently don't have any wards up whatsoever. They only have this one right here. So they can't actually see what's going on. Rubik's just going to 50-50. I hope to luck it out. He does get an Invis rune. So they're going to have no idea. Let's see if we maybe get a smoke gank coming in on this pink right now. Could be really, really good. And this Ezreal still getting EXP. So, I mean, this bottom lane is really not working out for them. I'm really surprised they haven't tried to rotate middle and get a kill. This DS is in a bit of trouble though. He does have Surge though. So Charles is trying to block. He does have a gush, but I don't know if they're going to use it because it would be probably a waste of mana. And yeah, there's no way they can kill him with that surge with that